Hi everybody, it's Katrina from the Bead Mat and the Alluring Bead Boutique, and I'm just going to do a quick little video for you guys today. I'm working on a gold-filled clasp for a necklace that I'm going to be making for my daughter in an upcoming video, and I'm using 12 gauge half-round gold-filled wire, and so far I've gotten this far with it. But just from getting this far, it's already wire hardened, this wire pretty stiff. And so in order for me to finish up what I need to do in order to solder this ring closed and to straighten up this hook clasp here on this side, I'm going to anneal these. And from one of my classes that I watch on Craftsy, and I'll put you guys a link in the description below to sign up for Craftsy if you're interested. Mark Nelson, who's an instructor, and he's also works for Rio Grande, he talked about how to make this barrier flux here that you can put on your metal so that what it'll do is protect it from getting fire stain. And you make it with denatured alcohol and boric acid powder. So I've got some made here, and I've already dipped my two little components into it and got them all coated up with that. And I've got my pickle pot over here to my left, already warmed up and ready to go. And we've talked about pickle before, and I'll put a link to the video also in the description box and the little eye up here for that. But I'm going to go ahead and fire up my torch. I've got everything set up. I've got my little quench cup pot that I use sitting over here ready to quench my metal before it goes into the pickle pot. And I have my copper tongs, because if you remember, you always have to take things in and out of your pickle using copper, or you will really mess up your pickle. And I'm going to be using my max flame torch for this because I want to heat everything up pretty quickly but pretty evenly. So I'm going to strike my torch up, and then I'm locking the flame, and then I'm going to turn my flame down because if you'll remember on this max flame torch, it has a pretty huge flame. So I'm going to bring it on down just a little like that. And then I'm going to, I've got my annealing pan that spins around so I can maneuver these. And I'm just going to start heating around on the charcoal first. Then I'm going to come into my metals and I'm going to spin because I want this heat to be evenly distributed. I might need to turn it up just a little because I want that barrier flux to start melting, which it already is on the jump ring. But I'm going to have to do a little bit more work over here on the other one. And then to anneal the metal, what you want to look for is for the metal to go ahead and turn into have a glow. Guys, you know what? I'm going to have to put some more fuel in. Let me pause for a second. So that's one lesson learned there. I forgot to make sure I had plenty of fuel. So I'm going to go ahead and crank my torch back up. Now that I've filled it up, lock it. Bring that flame down just a little. And I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'm going to just go ahead and start slowly heating around on both pieces until they glow, till they get to where they glow. And then I'll know my metal has softened back up. I'm going to focus on the ring. And I don't want to melt the ends of my ring, so we're just going to have to pay close attention. It looks like my metal is getting a nice glowy color, so I'm going to go ahead and take my jump ring, quench it, throw it in the pickle, if I can get it off of the copper. Now I'm going to work on this little hook clasp part. So I'm going to come on in here and keep turning and watch that flux singe away. And hopefully not run out of fuel again before this metal starts to get a nice glow to it. And it's kind of thicker down here towards where the eye portion is, and now it's glowing. So I can turn my torch off, and I can take that piece and throw it into the pickle. First I'll quench it. You can hear that. Now I'll put it into my pickle pot, and I'm going to put the lid on. And then we'll take a look at it when it cools down. And you can see that here on my charcoal block is still glowing. So that thing's pretty hot. So I want to be really careful right there. And I will give it a few minutes for this pickle to take place. And then I'll be right back. So while my metal is in the pickle, I thought I would get my denatured alcohol out and my boric acid out and just show you guys. I got this at the drugstore. This is the same boric acid that you would mix up to do an eye wash with. And this has 6 ounces in it. It was like $6.69, and that is at the expensive drugstore. It's probably a lot cheaper at like the Walmart pharmacy. And then the denatured alcohol I got at Lowe's Hardware, and I think it was pretty close to $10 for this can, but there's a lot in it. And then to mix it up, I've just used one of these little sauce cups from a restaurant that I cleaned and dried really, really well. And to mix it up, you just use equal portions. So if you use 2 tablespoons of your boric acid, you'll need to use 2 tablespoons of your denatured alcohol. Just depends on how big of a batch you want to mix up. And so I leave it sitting in this little cup when I'm not using it. And the alcohol does evaporate out, but you can, once you see what it looks like when you first mix it, you'll learn to add just a dash enough alcohol into it to get it back to the right consistency. And also, I forgot to mention at the start of the video, but if I forget to mention, I don't want you to ever forget that when you're soldering, you want to make sure that you have your safety glasses on and you have your fire extinguisher close by, and that you know how to use it. And so I just wanted to briefly put that in there and make sure that you guys think of safety each time before you start a soldering project. So I went ahead and got my pieces out of the pickle, and I just wanted to show you really quickly. You see how that flux mixture helps keep the metal from getting the fire scale? Look how pretty and gold my metal still looks, and I haven't done any finishing to this yet. I just simply quenched it, put it in the pickle, and then took it out. There's a couple little spots where I had to apply a little more heat down here where I'll have to do some extra finishing because I got a little bit of fire scale right there, you can see. But I'm going to keep this and set it aside. It's going to be part of my polishing and finishing metal video that I'm going to be working on really soon for you guys. That goes along also with the bald ear wires one that we did. But here's how the jump ring came out. And you can see that there's really like no fire scale on that. And now my metal is nice and soft to where I can work really much more easily to get this closed and ready to solder. I just wanted to let you guys know about the annealing process a little bit because it is a very important part of working with metals to make jewelry, and especially with wire, because it doesn't take very much finagling even with dead soft wire, which is what this was, for it to get really hard really fast. And being that it's 12 gauge, it becomes really hard for me especially to work with the problems I have with my hands not having much strength. So when I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about annealing and let you know that anytime you're working on a metal jewelry project, especially with these thicker gauges and wires that get hardened really easily, you can always just quickly anneal them, quench, and then pickle, and then they're back to the soft state so that you can work with them much more easily. All right, folks, so that's it for this quick little annealing video. You guys have a good day. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. If you like this video, please click like. Feel free to leave any comments and questions. Head on over to the Bead mat and get subscribed to the Bead mat blog over there as well in the newsletter. All right, folks, that's it. Have a great day.